Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. I think your side prevailed if we'd had a contest. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Seeing none, do we have any guests of Rotarians? Okay, that's easy. Yulia, would you like to take care of anniversaries for us now, please?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Woohoo! I'm gonna pick the ones with the so we've got Jim and all right, in our anniversaries this month we have 6 wonderful couples. I'm just gonna name them so that we think of them on this day. And we've got Curtis and Colette Melder. We've got Mark and Gail Nielsen, Sarah and Zachary Kotlerman, and Mike and Shelley Mosier, who are not able to be here today. But we've got 2 Rotarians who are here today. And we have Jim Dillon and his lovely bride was not able to make it, Sharon, but we've got a beautiful rose for you, Jim. And would you like to say a couple of words for us, please? How did life go for you guys here in Sedro Woolley?
Life is a dream. 41 sort of blissful years. Mostly blissful, I should say. Yeah. 3 grandchildren, 2 in Skagit County, 1 in Sharon's chagrin in Walla Walla. So don't get to see much of her. She's the youngest, but the brightest of the bunch. So we've been having a good time. It's been a hell of a ride.
Thank you so much, Jim. Happy anniversary. And those roses even have some glitter on them. And I have a sense that we have a glitter theme coming up in a couple of weeks, right? Even though we're not allowed to do any glitter. So we've got Dawn. Oh, yeah, this one for Dawn. Okay, has a little bit of glitter to it, right? Glitter. Dawn and Darlene Olmsted. So you guys, happy anniversary. Would you like to say a couple of words for the glitter rose? Okay.
Yeah, my wife Darlene couldn't make it. She's at physical therapy. She may actually come in just a little bit later, but she'll stop in 24 years, day before yesterday. 4 wonderful boys, 1 granddaughter. So, yeah, it is.
Oh, thank you so much. Happy anniversary. And we have 3 roses with a little bit of glitter to go back to those lovely women as a maybe pre-Mother's Day celebration or just a thank you for being there for you. So who would like to play in the auction? And we're just asking for what, $20, right? So do I see a show, a sea of hands, right? A sea of hands. So where's the first sea?
I'll take one, Yulia.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I've got one. Carl, you might be late. Thank you so much. So all of it goes to the auction. Of course, we're adding that money there. Thank you. Thank you, Teak. And another part, show of hands. Thank you. There's a lovely rose for you. Thank you so much, Frank. And well, another. Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness. I'm keeping this one.
So
Thank you. All right. I've got the money.
Yulia, do you have an announcement you wanted to make about the photo booth?
All right. So the photo booth, we are going to test it. We tried different options. We explored. It appears that we didn't want to pay the funds that it was required this year. Last time when we did the photographer, and he did a beautiful job, it only cost us about $300, but now he's in New York, so we were not able to get him. And everything else that I looked at was about $1,000 for the photographer to come in. So my understanding is that we decided it's a little bit too steep for us, and we would want to just try to kind of wing it. So we'll have the platform, we'll have the lights, we'll have the props on the table. Look for a very special plane that has those props next to you, and just corral your friends and take group photos with your selfie using the platform and the lights. And that's kind of what we decided to do this year. If you have other ideas, please, you're welcome. We still have a couple of weeks. Another idea was to just set up a schedule and maybe have Rotarians just offer to take pictures of the groups for about 15 or 30 minutes. But it sounds like we are all pretty busy and involved in the auction, and you have to be with your guests as well. So we can ponder on it next year, unless 6 people come up to me and say, yes, we want to do the schedule. There we go. That's my announcement. Thank you. Oh, yes?
Thank you.
More?
Chad, did you have something you wanted to, can you tell us a little update on the knife board and the cruise board, please?
All right, so we're still filling out our cruise board. We're getting really close on that one. It's $20 a square. We have our knife board this year. Bruce wasn't able to make it, but Chad Lewis, who owns a shop right next to the Woolley Market, made 3 really nice knives. And we've also have a barbecue, a grill, a smoker that's been added to the prize. So those are $50 squares. Because some of the changes, we're still waiting to get the board, but it'll definitely be here next week. If you wanted to give me some money today, I can put your name on a list and we can get you filled in, but just be ready to put in $50 to try to win that great prize.
Okay, thank you. Remember, the auction is 15 days away, and if you haven't registered, please get registered so you don't drive Danny crazy. And if you haven't got all your silent items in, it's not too late. It's never too late. So get those items in. There's an auction meeting tonight, right, Tim? 5:30? Okay, we're going to try to meet after the meeting. So if you want to be involved in the auction meeting, although I did send out an email last night that said 5:30 tonight. So if they show up, they'll show up. They'll figure it out. So we're going to meet right here after the meeting if you want to join us for the auction meeting. On May 5th, the day before the auction, right after the meeting, we're going to head out to the airfield to get the table set up. So please try to reserve that time to come out and so we can get a good start. So we're ready to put all the items and put the final touches on everything for May 6th. So we'll have plenty of time and don't have to push anything. So everyone is requested, begged to please show up on those 2 days. And everyone, please, after the auction, help clean up. Paula, you had an announcement. Tim's got the.
So this is the first time in 2 years, 2019 was the last time that we did Timber to Tech Wood Fest. And We are doing it again this year. It's at the gym at the high school. We've got a lot of great prizes, including a load of wood from my friend over here, cousin Mike. And, you know, I don't know how much we'll see of kids' activities. There's supposed to be some welding going on and some woodworking. And I think the horticulture club is bringing in some plants. So please come, check it out. And if you would like, you can also go out to Eagle Haven Winery. They are doing some things out there as well. And that might be what you want to do instead of coming to the school, but we do encourage everybody to come. Yes. I will send it to you. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Paula. Does anyone else have any announcement? Mark?
So just a reminder that Paul Harris awards will be awarded hopefully at our installation dinner ceremony. So I've received a couple of nominations, and basically just email me or Mike Mosier or Rich. So on the committee too. I think Becky Oldie's there too. But after next Thursday, the committee will meet and decide, make a decision on who's the recipient this year. Remember, it includes people in the community as well as people in our own club that put service above self and have been in the club and performed that for probably a number of years. So be thinking about that if you haven't turned in names already, and write a little bio on each one that you think is deserving, and we'll get it processed. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Any other announcements? Okay, can we have someone spin the wheel of fortune?
We do. B14. 14. Wine. Numero uno.
Paul, new members. That's how we keep you coming back.
Lucky one. Winner sings a song, tells a joke, or pays $2. Welcome to the club. Thank you, sir. Number 41. Is that another one? Oh. 41. One more. Sorry. The last one is number 74. There we go, Phil. Winner's table pays $2 each.
This is a great club. Okay, let's turn it over to John.
Okay, all right. So a lot of times we do trivia. I hate trivia. I'm not any good. If you ever want to go to a trivia thing, bring my cousin Paula. She knows everything. She's really good at trivia. But what we're going to do is get your wallets out. No, just whatever. We're going to get the auction. We're going to get excited about the auction. So I want people, I'm going to go around the tables, and I want a story or some kind of reflection on a past auction. And if it's good, it's $1. And if it's not a good story, then it's $2. And we're going to vote. Okay, so we're going to start with one here. I'm going to be on the table here. So can anyone think of the most unique live auction item in the last 50 years? It's not, this is this table. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so this was like auction number one, first auction that we had. And Tennyson had donated bull semen to one of the live auction items.
Thing to hear, yes.
Okay, bull semen, that was what I was gonna do. So you guys need to pay $1. Yeah, okay, so anyway, whoever's talking needs to speak to this so the people in the background. Did you have another one? Okay. Tim?
Can't remember, would have been in the early 80s, but John Ward had been up visiting Vern Sims and found a rusty old milk can for the old milk deliveries. And he asked, it was kind of in the junk pile, and John asked if he could buy it from it, Vern, and Vern said, no, just take it, that's fine. So naturally, John took it home, had it all straightened out, got it painted, and then put it in the auction. And of course, everybody's making the big story about, well, Vern will want to get this back. And everybody knew Vern was not going to lose at an auction. And he started bidding. It went for over $500 before the auctioneer just closed it off and said, that's enough.
There you go. That's a good example. Okay, Bill, you got any good stories? You just got to, okay. All right. How about this table? Any good stories?
I don't know what auction number it was, but Dr. Duga, who was used to be a member, offered up a full, complete, intense physical. We're going to poke you. We're going to stress you. We're going to all in places you never thought. Right?
Yeah, that's not very good. Not very good. Oh yeah, those guys, that's a pretty good one. That's only $1 there. How about you guys? Got any stories? You're relatively new to this story. You just got money? Okay. All right, wait. David's got a story.
So back in 1977, my dad was a Rotarian, and this was the time when you could allow high school students to do manual labor with no regard of anything. And so, so I think there were 8 of us. I think Mike Janicki was one of them. We were auctioned off as a work party, high school seniors, and Clark Todd from Mount Vernon purchased us, and we worked our asses off. We were there for 10 hours, clearing out the back in their back patio. Clark Todd from Mount Vernon. Do you remember that? Do you remember we went over there? But I reminded it for you too. But then more recent memory is in this is so great. This was the best. Mike Janicki was welcoming everyone to his auction, and I was able to walk up and take the microphone from his hands and wish you a happy birthday, and kind of took over your show. But that was great. It was a great auction. It was awesome. So that's it. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
We just need $1 in this table. That's very good. Carl's got a good one. Okay.
Well, I have a lot of fond memories from the auction, and I'll share a couple of them with them. One was Al Armstrong. He went to Vegas and he got all the stuffed animals. He played Keno till he died practically. And he came back and his car was stuffed full of stuffed animals. And these were big, they stood this tall. And we didn't know what to do with them. And so we put them, it was our very first frenzy back in about the year 1998. And we sold all of those stuffed animals. We made about $2,500 on about 12 of them. And it was the funnest thing because who wants $25? Boom, ba-doo, ba-doo. And by the time you raised your hand for 25, he said, sold for 100. And It was really lively and a lot of fun. I have other memories and I'll be real brief here. Terry Russell was a great member for a long time and he would sit in the back and he'd just do this and he would go and it would be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on whatever he was bidding and he wouldn't be denied. And that's the kind of spirit that we're looking for. And maybe John, you could tell if you remember, John Hunter built a flower or a gardener cart thing and your mom was not going to be denied. Maybe you could tell us about that.
Well, when my mom wanted something, she got it. That's pretty much. Anyone else? I got one. One time we had to do a dance. Do people remember this dance? I think it was. Anyway, we have a Rotarian here that knows how to show us how to dance, and we did the YMCA or something.
Yeah.
What did we do? The disco thing, and it was out of control. So I'll pay a buck for that for sure. Okay, you guys, this table never went. No, Mike doesn't. He doesn't get the mic. He doesn't count. No. Okay, I got a question. I went to the auction in 1990. Okay. What do you think the gross was? 1990. I remember the number. Yeah. It was like 26,000. It wasn't hardly any, I mean, it was a lot at the time, but that was pretty good. Okay, so any other things? Happy bucks for anybody? Happy buck?
I've got a happy $10. Last Saturday, Michael and I volunteered our time for the Kiwanis Salmon Barbecue. Michael's boss is a Kiwanian and he gathered the volunteers for that day. And so we were at the front taking the money, working the cash register, and it was a lot of fun. It was great. They do a great job on that salmon barbecue. It was wonderful. We went for Country Meadow Village the day before, but someone came in and asked what a Kiwanian was. And I go, I'm a Rotarian, so I don't know. Let me go find out. I forget what it was, but so it was great. It was a great time to volunteer for another service organization, and they raised a lot of money.
You represented a Rotary Club within the Kiwanis Club very nicely. Thank you very much. All right, we have a happy back over here.
I've got a couple. Last Monday, Debbie and I are staying up at Lake Samish, and I happened to be standing there watching a counter-rotating windmill that we have just going crazy in this windstorm. And all of a sudden, I was visually watching this water spout form in the middle of Lake Samish and scrape across the lake. It was about 30 feet wide and about 50 feet tall, just really kind of a misty kind of thing. And it was just phenomenal to watch it just scoot across. And all of a sudden you hear this boom, bang. It had lifted up somebody's canoe on the beach and thrown toys all over the place, but it was just phenomenal to watch this thing just scoot across the lake. So it's kind of cool to visually see that it happening.
Yeah, I'm glad you came out of it safely. Anyone else? Yes.
Got a happy 10. Went to the Mariners game last night, my friend Daryl, and they won.
Anybody else? Oh, cousin.
Here's Dive. I'm excited for the Wood Fest this weekend. That's one thing, but I do want to say, my brother Ray has been diagnosed with rectal cancer, and he's been pretty miserable lately. So prayers for him would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Okay, President, I think we're all done.
Thank you. I think that's time for Tim to introduce our speaker.
Quick introduction. You all know him. Teak Martin's here. He's going to talk about all the work that he's been doing and our club's been doing down in Copan. Give us a little update. Thanks, Teak.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's my pleasure to get to talk about our work. And I say our work because I have to thank everyone in the club for their participation and donations in the auction, and that we have an international committee, and the international committee gets to do work in Honduras. So where we go in Honduras is Copan Ruinas. Can you go back one? Copan is circled right on the west part of Honduras, next to the Guatemalan border, and basically up in the hills. The river goes through town at 2,000 feet altitude, so it's not like the jungles in eastern Honduras, and it's really a safe area because it's so remote from the cities. Next. And the entrance to the town is over a little river. And basically when they had COVID, they really locked down. This was the in and out, and all the other roads in and out had big piles of gravel. So one way to monitor the population that was totally locked down for months, that you could go out of your home on the N number of your ID card, i.e. driver's license, one day every 9 or 10 days. Next. So there I am enjoying a Copan breakfast, lots of tortillas and fresh fruit and various things. It was so much fun. I go down with different Rotary groups, different people almost every time, but mainly from the International Project Alliance, IPA, that we're a participant in. IPA has 12 clubs now, and is, I think we spend about $250,000 in the area a year, so we're a major contributor to the economy. Next. Another dinner out. The lady on the right toward the front is Cynthia, is our IPA teacher for different projects in the villages, and we have a construction manager too. And all the projects have free labor, that the people in the villages do the actual construction. So all our money goes to good cause. A lunch out at one of the village schools that we work with is always fun. Usually lots of chicken soup. You've never had real chicken until you've had free-range Honduran chicken. Next. Tough. With me celebrating the completion of one of the projects is Marco, the current president of the Copan Club, and Kathy, who has a Spanish school and was one of my original Spanish language teachers. So one of the fun things, can you turn the volume on that one? And next one. There's a little video here, if we can get it going, of Katia, who is a Rotarian who is a major contributor to me, has a family coffee farm, and I got to sample the first coffee of the crop a few years ago. But not running. Okay, well, we'll do without the video. Next. A view down from up in the hills of the Copan Valley is just beautiful, and lots of good hiking. Next. View, whoops. The climate in the wintertime is the dry season, and usually we go November to May. It can get up to 90 degrees, but usually more like 80 degrees, and usually not much rain in the wintertime, but summer, July, August, September is the rainy season for their summer, and can be really, really hot. Looking down again at the Copan River, which looks rather innocuous there, but a few years ago with their 2 hurricanes and all the rain, the whole lower valley flooded, wiping out all the crops, which are things like peppers and tomatoes and corn, and was a real problem. Lots of the roads getting washed out. The roads are tough anyway. No gravel, just dirt. And when it rains, there are places you just can't get to. And when there are mudslides and stuff, you really can't get there. Would love to show some video of riding along on some of those roads in the mud, and some of the only roads I've kind of prayed over. Are we going to get up this hill or not? Next. And downtown here in the Central Square, we got video. It's very family friendly. Lots of kids and stuff going on. And the church, the altar faces Jerusalem, like all the Spanish started in the villages and towns. And the stage area for programs, and lots of sitting around there and street cars and all. Really a fun thing to participate in. Next, and see if the video will work on that. About 50,000 Sunday band in front of the church, street fair, and everyone sitting having a good time. And you'll see some of the bigger tourist towns, typical transport to and from the airport, and three-wheeler taxis going by, customers, lots of trail park street where the motorcycles are. Most of the people have to get to and from those villages. Pickup trucks, if you remember where we went to the Toyota pickup truck before nightly holidays. And those go to and from next. Typical, actually pretty good little house. They still cook on fires inside the houses, which takes us back to some of our original Rotary projects about 10 years ago when some of you went to Guatemala with me with Hands for Peacemaking out of Everett, and put together stoves with concrete blocks in the metal interior and a chimney, which was interesting. It was great that you got to work with the family. They didn't like the women to work. The women had to go play with the kids because the women aren't supposed to be doing construction. And it took about a half day, so you could do 2 stoves a day. The stove design went forward, and with Stove Team International out of Oregon, and stoves became cast on the outside with a metal interior, and you could put that 60 or 70 pound stove on your shoulder and deliver them to the village, and the little Hondurans would put it on their shoulder and take it up the hill, and things that you or I probably would not want to carry. Next. But that was a family, one of the Copan Rotarians, and I got to visit after going for a sponsored program that I'll show you pictures of. The club down there in Copan Ruinas is small, about 15 people, and between IPA and Rotary clubs in North and South Carolina, they stay really busy. It's almost like if you think of our club and all the clubs in the district have a project around Sedro Woolley they want us to help them doing. So the Rotarians there have become good friends, and we keep them quite busy. Picture of me having lunch in the house there of the family of one of the kindergarten teachers. Next. Our flagship project was about 6 years ago. I got kind of crazy And with the help of Walt Guterbach and Fidalgo, applied for a global grant for $32,000 to provide equipment for a new OB clinic. The green clinic on the left is a general clinic, and USAID, I think, built the white building down below that was supposed to be a freestanding OB clinic, and it's about 2 hours outside of town. And the real poor folks OB clinic is 3 hours away. So to come down an hour from the village and to be able to deliver here would be a big deal. And the Copan Club work with an organization called Montcasaric for trying to get the OB clinic going. Well, the bottom line is we got a lot of equipment for them and did our Rotary part, but then the health organizations there changed 2 or 3 times and kind of let go of the project because the government and the World Bank wouldn't give them any money. So the equipment, the ultrasound being the main one, went to the to be used in the general clinic, and there's more OB care, but we never got the delivery going, not for Rotary's fault, but the lesson for me is don't count on any money from the federal government down there, is always make sure they have their part going before we do our part. And that's been a valuable lesson. And a lot of work went into kind of documenting everything. And if you get the inspiration to do a global grant sometime, come talk to me first. It's interesting. Next, here's the general clinic on just a healthcare facility. Next, and me with one of the nurses on a different trip when I brought a bunch of supplies and gave them. Next. And in the newer building with a new refrigerator and stove and all sorts of goodies that unfortunately haven't reached to full use yet. Next. And me with some of the staff there. Next. Another look at the older part of the clinic, and some of the equipment we've bought's gone into the older part to really help that, which has been good. Next. And they run out of water in the dry season, so we helped out with a big water tank for keeping that rainwater for use. Next. Now with IPA, we go out to usually 4 villages a day in a February trip to deliver school supplies, and which is a big thing the IPA does to dozens, 2 weeks worth of 4 villages a day. And they all have to be put together on the teachers' equipment, and then the students in these what we call Adopt a Dreams students too. The middle schoolers get backpacks and uniforms and school supplies for the year, but a whole room of supplies to get delivered over 2 weeks, which is always a fun project. I could show you lots of pictures of happy kids, but I wanted to concentrate a little bit more on what we're doing. But primary schools, this is Carasolita 2, our club village, where we supply the supplies to the primary school, and for the Adopt a Dream middle school students that we help with. Adopt a Dream helps kids in school after 6th grade. The federal government of Honduras just pays for the teachers and education for 6th grade. So, you know, if you can imagine now your 6th grade grandkid or a kid going out to get a job and start to work in the coffee fields and have a life, it's really different if you can even keep them in school for another 3 years in middle school. And hopefully you can keep them in school for another 3 years in high school. And we have some Adopt a Dream students now that made it on to college and medical school even. And I have one student who just graduated from the local college in business administration here this year. So what we can do with education, and the main place the IPA works is in education. And I think we have 11 people in our club sponsoring students now is really great, and 18 students. So I want to thank all the sponsors. And if you're interested in helping a student, I left a piece of paper on the table. If your table doesn't have one and you're interested, talk to me. I've got a few more. So we'd love to have more sponsors. Starts at $180 a year. You can keep a middle school student in school for $180 a year. And when we look at what we have to spend on middle school or primary per student, it's just a bargain. But it is a commitment for however long they've got to finish middle school, usually 3 years. And if they go to high school, you can keep helping them out. So it's kind of getting down to begging, please, we need more sponsors. And you'll get a letter from them. And if you want to go to Honduras with our trips, we do our best to get you out and see some students. There are 3 of my students. Next. And their teacher in primary school. The teachers just love us coming in and helping out. So if you go out to a village with a school that we don't support and see how bare the whole thing is, it's just totally dramatic when you compare it to the sponsored schools. Next. Well, this is giving out the packs and supplies when you pull into these schools in February, which is the beginning of their school season, because everyone's out in December and January picking coffee, including all the little kids. That's their basic income for the year is 2 months of picking coffee. And it's just like Santa Claus coming to town here and getting their packs filled up with the uniforms and supplies and places that no one's given them anything in their whole lives. Next. Next. See if your video will run or audio.
Junior Enrique.
And how old is he?
¿Cuántos años tiene? 13.
In what grade?
¿En qué
Well,
grado está?
anyway, explaining what he likes to do and how school's going and stuff. And I'm fortunate to have studied a little bit of Spanish, so I can communicate some. But we always take a translator along too, so which helps if you if I get into a deep discussion, I can understand more. Next. So this is our school, Carasolita 2. It's got 78 students in 2 classrooms and 2 teachers. So that's a lot of students. So our project this year is we're building a 3rd classroom on this side of the building. And the teachers there tell us that they'll be able to get a 3rd teacher from the government. So divvy those 78 students up 3 ways instead of 2. Next. This is the inside of the kindergarten building, which our clubs helped with a new roof and painting the building and a new latrine wash basin next to the buildings. The little kindergartners were having to go off almost in the woods. This is another project, a different kindergarten and different school that we've helped. And that area, this kindergarten was interesting because it was built for one of the close-in villages that IPA doesn't sponsor. And I went up there with the local Rotarians for a dedication. And you walk around the whole site and there's no woods. It's just kind of surrounded by stuff and fall off. So it was like, okay, where do these kids go to pee? No place, out in the yard. So I got permission from our board to build another bathroom cleaning basin. There's the one of the teachers who's also a translator for us next. And lo and behold, we have for $1,000 of materials and the villagers' labor, we've got a nice new banyo and cleaning station next. And painting the kindergarten, that's what it looks like now rather than a bare building last year. Next. Cute little building with a really neat mural on the left side. And some of the schools are teaching the native language too from the Mayans. And it kind of has in Mayan on the blue section, welcome to the School of Learning or something. I don't know Mayan yet. Next. And going to the Mayan side of things, Copan Ruinas is, well, Copan, which was the original Mayan city name, and ruins, about a 10-minute walk outside of town are the best Mayan ruins in Honduras and the southern end of the Mayan Empire. And allegedly at one time, Copan had 100,000 people in the valley until it collapsed about 800 or 900 AD. But fantastic ruins to see. And the king sat up in this area to watch the ball game down between the middle of the picture. And allegedly the winners got sacrificed. A mock-up of what it looked like back then. The winners got sacrificed. It was a honor to die for your city. Next. Will the volume come on this one or the video? Can't hear it. There it goes. There is the local bird, the guacamaya in Spanish, and there's a bird farm, a bird rescue farm outside of town that's really interesting to visit. But after the birds are rescued, they're turned loose, and most of them seem to live down around the ruins. So in the afternoon, frequently I'd walk out with friends and do a little walk hike for the day and see feeding time of the birds, which was just amazing. But to see these guys flying all around was really neat. And that's one of the tourist places you don't want to miss when you go to Copan, is going to the bird farm. Next. Health is a big concern too. All our students in the schools we sponsor and the Adopt a Dream students are, when medical concerns come up that interfere with their education, then we pay for them to go to the local doctor and be checked out, and we'll buy hearing aids and glasses and things that help them. This little gal next had some really bad eczema, or maybe starting with scabies. Next. One of our other club projects, non-IPA, has been helping the local Clinica Central Clinic, which is the green building there, which is the main free source of healthcare in town, but you still have to buy your prescriptions. Next. Well, we actually stay in town at a regular touristy type hotel. But with IPA, we've got a deal for $50 a night compared to tourist prices, which might be 100 or 150. So when you go for a number of weeks, and the food costs there and restaurants and all is less than our food costs, but has gone up with inflation and things going on. But the central square is usually just a few blocks from the hotel, and pardon me, and the clinic here is like 2 blocks from the central square. So the village is part of it is on the side of a hill, but basically in town, you can walk any place and you can walk out to the archaeological site in about 10 minutes. And it's all perfectly safe to walk around and do stuff. It's less intimidating than Cabo or someplace where all the timeshare people try to grab you. Next. So our last project here was we got 3 air conditioning units because a number of years ago, a Canadian club bought them a new roof and they seal things in more, but they don't really have the windows particularly open. And if it's 85 degrees outside, it's about 95 in the building. So some of my friends in the Copan Club had been talking to me about that for years. And we got 3 heat pump type air conditioning units next for like $3,000 or $4,000 down there. And I have a friend who's an architect and a construction guy, and he runs a pretty good deal with the people down there that we'd had like a $7,000 bid before, which came from one of the families with money. And when my friend went to the company's local, he got it for like half the price that the original bid was. So, but boy, that really helps them in the hot weather for the doctors, nurses, and patients. Makes a huge amount of difference. Next. So kind of a happy journey. I think, let's see if I talked about all our projects here. A couple years ago, we had another district grant that we ran through IPA to a little village called Lamoya. And believe it or not, between the kindergarten and primary school had no electricity. And if you have some small windows and a tin roof, then it's pretty dark in there even during a good day. So we got electricity strung to the 2 schools and did about 10 or 12 houses around there at the same time. So even getting electricity is a big deal for some of them now. That the schools and the public clinic get free power from the power company, but the power company's not going to hook anyone up down there. So that was a nice district grant for us. And we talked about district grants and my global grant. And health projects we do, and all the adopt a school. So these are just some of the things we do. And it's not about me or just the IPA, but it's really about you all that, we're the ones that go to the auction and get our friends and family and neighbors and generate the money in the auction. So I can't promote the auction too much. So we can do international projects like this. And, for me, it's all about the help. Daryl helped me put the technical part of all this together, which I am learning how to do. And your presidents take time off on a weekend to go to a district grant seminar so they know something about these grants and can sign off. So the presidents have a big deal in doing this. And the international committee, Carl and I are the most active people. But if you're interested in this, then come see me, the IPA has Zoom meetings every month now that we're still on Zoom to prevent having to travel from southern BC down to Whidbey Island and stuff to come to a meeting up here. And I love the meetings and seeing everybody, but the Zoom's so much more convenient. But if you're interested in seeing what the IPA is doing, let me know and I'll give you the Zoom credentials and come see what we're doing in the IPA. And it's just such a blessing that people, particularly Peter Martin of Fidelgo Club, put the IPA together with this 10 or 11 clubs that we've got the resources to doing all this. And I have to thank Walter Guterbach, who helps me with my district and the international grant. And Rotary International is the money we send to Chicago for Rotary International. Half of it comes back to the district, and we can get assistance for doing these projects. So don't forget when you get a chance to donate to Rotary International. And the Adopt a Dream I mentioned, if you're interested in sponsoring a student, come see me. And we're doing 5 trips now a year down to Copan. Usually the real work trips are November, assessing the school's needs and how many students. And the 1st of February is the first week of school. The first 2 weeks of February, we go out and deliver supplies and see all the little villages and all. And this year we started what I call the tourist trip for people who haven't been down before that want to go see what's going on. And if you have a student and they make arrangements for you to see your student, and if you're involved in a village like we are at Carasolita too, you can go out and see the village and see the ruins and see the birds and just see the whole scene. It's a great way to spend some time for the tourist trip. And the end of March or 1st of April, when it's still the dry season and 80 degrees and sunny down there compared to our weather. So anyone interested, just let me know. We'd love to have more people with our international projects. And again, I just have to thank you all for making it happen. That's it.
Thank you, Teague. Interesting program. I'll give you a pen, but I'm sure you might have about 20 of them. So
Actually, I take them down for my friends in the Rotary Club down there.
very good. With that, I'm sorry.
I want to give a couple happy bucks because I think Teague does a great job representing Rotary International, our club, our county. Thank you for doing all that work. I know it's a lot of work to make all that happen. Makes us look good without doing very much. So really appreciate that.
Thank you. Any more questions before he gets away? Okay. He's always around though, so you can always ask him. With that, we'll be having a short meeting for anyone interested in finding out what's going on with the auction or how you can help right after the meeting. And if you could help clean up, that would be greatly appreciated. With that, we're closed.